Make the ground shake.
What is going on, guys? We are doing the final division for Madden 17 prediction videos. It's obviously Madden 16 gameplay. We're going to be going over the AFC West today. My predictions, of course, so just my opinions of what I think. So obviously, I always like to hear what you guys have to say as well. As for other prediction videos, if there's something you guys want to see, since this is the last one, please do let me know in the comments below, and we can do something Madden 17 prediction video related wise, maybe even some other video, not even Madden 17, just let me know. But these are my, AFC West predictions. Like I said, love to hear what you guys have to say down below, so please let me know. We're going to go ahead here and get started. Fourth on the list is the San Diego Chargers. They finished 4-12 last year. There was an 82 overall going into the season. I feel like this team could be higher than a 76 overall, especially ending the season because of all their injuries. But last year, total offense, it was 9th in the league, and they gave up 361 yards per game last year on defense. That was best for 20th in the league. They had a big loss on that defense as well in good old Weddle in free agency. They went out and got Lowry to replace him, but obviously that's a big downgrade considering from a Madden standpoint that was the best player on their team overall wise, but obviously from a team standpoint he was obviously a big impact player as well. They went out and signed Travis Benjamin in free agency. It was a quiet move, but I think this could be a great move. He did do pretty well on the Browns, and that was the Browns. I mean, let's be honest, he didn't have the greatest players around him over there in Cleveland, but they are, could be an improving team as well. It's a different story, but I do think he could do well with Phillip Rivers. Also, two guys who can really help that D-line were good old Brandon Mabane, and they drafted Bosa, so they got two more guys on that defensive line as well to help out that defense. The O-line struggled last year because of all the injuries, and even when they weren't injured, there was, some problems with that offensive line, but that offensive line was a direct result of another poor run game year by the Chargers. Gordon only averaged 3.5 yards per carry. And then we moved to the wide receiver position, and what's the common theme for this offense? Injuries, and that was the wide receiver position as well. Allen was, having a career year, you could argue, going into the season. He was just having a tremendous season. He got injured. Stevie Johnson missed some games as well. That was their 1-2 punch. So coming into the season, I mean, they throw on Travis Benjamin. If these guys can stay healthy, they can have a potent offense. People are still questioning how Rivers will do with age. I think he'll be all right. I mean, he lost a lot of guys last year. People do have to realize that. So we'll go ahead and see how they do on the season. Like I said, we're going to give them a 76 overall because of that poor performance last year, though. Coming in next is the Kansas City Chiefs. They finished 11-5 last year. We're going to give them an 83 overall. There's an 82 last year. Only a small bump up because there's an 82 last year. Didn't see too many tremendous changes that would make their overall go up a lot more. But their total offense was 27th in the league last year. Total defense, 7th in the league. Sean Smith was their biggest loss on that defense. They also traded out of the first round, so they drafted Chris Jones, defensive tackle, with their second round first pick of the draft. And, Justin Houston missed some time on that defense as well. He had a phenomenal... Well, he didn't miss it. Well, he missed some time, but he had a phenomenal 2014 season. We'll get it right. We'll get it right, I promise, guys. But he had, that came off that 22 sack season, so he had a little bit of a more down year. But again, I said he was injured too, so he could have been playing through some injuries. The Chiefs' front seven will continue to be one of the best in the league, but the offense did have a better year as well last year with that Macklin addition. Jamal Charles obviously got injured in the beginning of the season, unfortunately, again, but West Ware did a great job, the two did, in replacing him in that run game last year. So they definitely still have a very good team for running that football. As you see, though, we're going to give them an 83 overall. Coming up next is the Raiders. Not sure how many people are going to like this and how many are going to agree with it, but I'm looking for the future here in the Raiders. I think they got a good team coming, but we're going to give them an 83 overall this year. They was 7-9 last year. Total offense was 24th. Total defense was 22nd, but I think they played a lot better than those numbers show. Best season they probably had in a decade, arguably, and they went out there and drafted defense in the first 3 rounds again this year. They made some big free agency moves as well. You cannot miss out on that. I really think I botched that guy's name, but he plays offensive lineman. You guys know who I'm talking about. If you're a Raiders fan, you'll probably comment below and tell me how big of an idiot I am. But that's alright. Can't pronounce him all right. I'm sorry. But, so that improved an already solid offensive line. Then they went on defense. They got Bruce Irvin, Reggie Jackson, Sean Smith. They signed some big-time good players on that defense. If these guys can keep playing, that's definitely going to mold that defense to get even better. And, this defense could be very good. And, don't forget about guys like Alden Smith and Khalil Mack they already had. Mack statistically, believe it or not, had a better year than the Super Bowl MVP Von Miller did last season. So you cannot take that out of consideration. He just didn't get paid like he did. The Raiders feel like they could be a playoff contender this year, and that is why they went out and got all of these free agent players. Their offense made some huge strides last year as well. I expect big upgrades for guys like Latavius Murray, Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, and Michael Crabtree. Crabtree was a pleasant surprise for these guys last year at wide receiver. And with all these offensive players seeing upgrades and defensive players seeing upgrades from free agency, I am expecting a big overall boost for these guys for that reason. You cannot take away the fact that, the way you feel like this team has a good future ahead of them. They went out and got more defense in the draft. Their offense is young and growing as it is. So I definitely think they could be a playoff contender if they can keep it together this season. So we're going to keep them, number 2 in the list, and we're going to go on here to the number 1 team. Coming in at number 1 is the Denver Broncos. Of course, Peyton Manning is no longer quarterback for them, but they was 12-4 last year. They was a Super Bowl champ, so we're going to give them a 92 overall. I could see why people are going to say they don't deserve a 92 overall because of this offseason, but we're going to go through it. You got to give the Super Bowl champs the best overall, right? I mean, it's up for debate, but still, total offense last year, 16th. Best defense in the league, obviously. The defense carried that team to the Super Bowl, and it's hard to see this team repeat with Sanchez being the likely starter, but they did draft Paxton Lynch as well. Still have great players around him, though. You can't forget about Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. Even Cody Ladner, C.J. Anderson started to come on late last year. He just struggled to start the season. But, they have some good talent around the guy. One of the things of question, though, on that offensive side is that offensive line. And it is a big concern to an extent if you want to consider who they do have playing quarterback. Only Matt Paredes is expected to be a starter from the Super Bowl starting 5 last season. Evan Mathis was their biggest loss this offseason. And now let's talk about this defense. I know that defense is phenomenal, but if this offensive line struggles, and with their QB concerns, they could be turnover machines, not score, whatever. You go from a game manager to a turnover guy like Mark Sanchez. Sanchez could go out there and surprise some guys. Who knows? But at the same time, we know what Sanchez is capable of, and that could be a concern. But like I said, about that defense, Von Miller just got paid big time to play like an elite player. I don't know what I think about paying a guy that kind of money. I mean, you're paying him quarterback money, but he plays great. He's obviously a difference maker on that team. So we'll see how that pays out for them in the long run. They need to pay other guys. They still have Ware, but they lost Malik Jackson, Danny Trevathan. Secondary is lights out. So they got Talib, they got Chris Harris, they got Bradley Roby on the rise. I am still starting to question, though, if this team is worth a 92 overall because of their losses. But they are the champs, right? So, I mean, you got to give it to them. But they lost some big names. They lost some quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. They went down to Sanchez. But they still have so many big pieces in this team. I guess you can't deny the fact that they do deserve that 92 overall. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. You think they deserve a 92 overall? I mean, they're the best. They won the Super Bowl. How can you not give them the best overall in the next game? You just got to make it happen somehow, I guess. But you guys have to let me know. These are my my predictions, of course. As always, I like to hear the order you guys have to say in the comments below. So please let me know what you guys think. As always, guys, I hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching.